Welcome to the Music and Memories Podcast with your host, Vince Moreno.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me for the very first episode of Music and Memories, the brand new podcast brought to you by me, Vince Moreno. Yeah. Hey, I wanted to start the first one off here. I wanted to kick things off with a good friend of mine, also a 1990s country superstar and legend, entertainer of the year, I don't know how many times. Who I'm talking about is Neal McCoy, the one and only Neal McCoy. This guy gave me my first artist gig. He took a chance on me, and you know, I went out there and played keyboards for him for about 4 years. And in that time, I learned a lot of stuff. And even prior to working with him, I used to open shows for him, you know, and used to go see him live. And I learned so much from this guy. He was a mentor of mine for a long time, and I mean, still is. But I learned how to be on stage. I learned confidence on stage. I learned how to entertain people. I learned how to be fun and be funny. This guy, I mean, Neal McCoy, he's one of the funniest people you'll ever, I mean, he's so quick-witted. I mean, I learned a lot of that stuff from this guy. If you're ever around or if he's near you, you need to go to his show if you have not been already. He's got a pretty strong fan base and still tours quite a bit throughout the year. So you need to look him up and get out there and see one of his shows. But anyway, I drove to his house. I think it was June of 2019. So it's been a little while. I've been trying to get this podcast going. It's taken a little bit for me to get all the equipment and learn all the ins and outs of it. But anyway, we recorded this thing. I just drove to his house one day in Longview, Texas, and we set up in his kitchen and set the microphones up, and off we went. Just started talking and sharing memories and talking about music, that's what this whole podcast is about. It's going to be stories and music and memories about stuff that we've done and or anybody in the music business done. I'm going to be interviewing a lot of people. So I hope you guys are here for the ride, and I hope you guys subscribe and share and enjoy. Mostly, I hope you enjoy it because I'm having fun taping these things. It's been a lot of fun, seeing a lot of old friends and stuff like that. So anyway, I want you guys to sit back and turn those speakers up. If you're driving, be careful. Don't be driving into somebody else while you're laughing. And enjoy this very first episode, you guys. Mr. Neal McCoy. Sitting here with Neal McCoy, my old boss.
Where at?
Sitting at your house.
It
better be your house.
Yeah, it's 6 in the morning, Vince. What are you doing here so early? I told you not to come till 8:15.
It is 8. It's past 8 o'clock.
It's 8:15.
How you doing, man?
I'm good,
It's good
boy.
to see you, dude.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for sitting down with me today. This is basically just kind of talking about all the music and all the memories and all the stuff that we've done.
Well, don't talk about all the memories. Your wife's just right there.
That's true.
Vince.
Well,
Why you think I locked mine in there and told you she was
hopefully other
asleep?
people will be listening to this later, too. Otherwise, delete.
Honey, he's talking about, is he talking about you?
What memories exactly?
Just joke. Holly.
No, but we just drove in from, where were we? Huntsville, Texas. About a 3-hour drive.
Oh, damn Sam Houston.
Yes, that's exactly
That's
right.
where Swade, our son, graduated from there.
Is that where? I didn't even know that was a college there, but we went
Big
to this,
college,
went to
20,000.
this- Yeah, we went to this bar last night, and our waitress was like, "Oh yeah, I go to school here," and I said, "Oh, I thought that was the prison. Everybody's talking about this prison."
Yeah, well,
that's
some
there."
do go to that school, but they won't admit it.
I said, "Do you just graduate from the school, go straight to prison?" She's like, "Yeah, half of the kids do." I said, "Well, don't do that." You know,
Half of them actually, when they get out of prison, go to school as part of their severance package.
Well, we got to hurry up and do this stuff because you got a pledge of allegiance to do here.
I do.
Pretty quick, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you just step out front out there?
I
Most
go
of the
to the
time?
flagpole.
And people come out to the gate. I see. I mean,
Some of them.
They just come out randomly. People.
Yeah, they ride. Some people drive from all over the country to come say the Pledge of Allegiance
We
with me.
just drove in from Nashville, Tennessee.
Just to say the Pledge
just
with
to
me.
come see you watch.
And since you got here early, we're doing this thing.
Yeah.
What is this thing?
This is I guess they call it a podcast.
What's it called? What's the name of your
Music
thing?
and Memories.
Oh, cool.
With Vince Moreno. Yeah, we're just kind of getting started and doing some stuff. But
We've done a lot of music and you got a lot of memories, so it should work.
Well, and I got a lot of friends that have played music with.
Yeah.
You know, like I've got, my steel player played with George Jones for like 30 years. And
Oh, wow.
we're going to do some stuff. Just people like that. And that's what it's going to be about. Just anybody who's been in the music business involved with it and has stories to tell. Which
Good.
You've got tons of stories to tell.
I got a ton of stories.
Where do we start?
But let's go. Well, I was born a poor black child.
And died a black child.
That's right. And I'm still a black child. So I don't know what to do.
You used to say when somebody say, "You've been doing this your whole life," and you said, "I ain't."
Not yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I did yet. I remember the first time you said that, I was like, oh, that actually makes sense.
Yeah. You lived there all your life? Not yet.
That's so funny. I was thinking about stuff to talk about on the way here when we were driving. I was like, back before I got to work with you, like I had you on this pedestal. I learned so much about
Boy, that came down quick. Why'd I get the job? Oh, I've been out here calling Holly going, I've been here 1 month. Don't believe any of that crap. Don't believe any of it.
No, but I learned a lot. And I've said this in multiple, I've done other podcasts with other people, and they asked me about influences and all that stuff. I said, man, I learned confidence and showmanship and a lot of the humor stuff too by watching you and opening up for you and stuff in Tucson or whatever.
Yeah,
and I think we actually opened for you one time in Santa Fe. I think at that Camel Rock or Camel something.
I think that's right. Yeah,
the Camel
it was actually it was just a camel zoo.
Yeah,
they raised camels, and that's where we were.
But anyway, I learned a lot. By watching you do that stuff. Is there somebody, was Charlie Prather the guy that you did that kind of was that? Was your Neal McCoy?
Yeah, oh, he had to have been.
I know he helped you, but before that, was there somebody that you were like, man?
No, because Vince, I'd never really. I had been working some clubs and stuff just on my own and going around doing a little Southwest Circuit tour. But I didn't grow up in the music business. So I grew up listening to all kind of music, but I wasn't out performing. I was out performing with quartets and that kind of stuff. So, but once I got into it and watched Charlie and got to travel with him for all those years, I kind of learned things to do and not do. But the thing that if you talk to Charlie Prather today, and because I've heard him answer this question, and I answer it the same way, they'll say, what advice did you give Neal McCoy? He said, I didn't give any. I just gave him the platform to go out there and learn, and that's what I tell people too. He never, not one time after a show,
don't do this.
Called me that. He never called me over and said, "Son, well, I don't think."
Yeah, that's not going to work.
No,
right.
he just let me die out there, But he knew I was smart enough. Well, I died that time. I won't do that.
Learn though. No better way to learn.
I ain't going to do that again.
Yeah,
Shoot.
right. Well,
but yeah, it had been Charlie, and then because that was the only guys I really ever out with. Okay. And then we just learned it on our own. I mean, but I don't know if we do it right, but we do it the way we like it.
You like the standard music and all that, the what do you call it? The
Great American Songbook, show tunes, that kind of stuff.
You like that stuff. So was there anybody from that era that you were like, at that point back then, were you thinking, man, I really, I want to incorporate that, or did that kind of come over the years of just?
It just kind of came over the years of singing
country
and
music.
playing. Yeah, but that's exactly right.
Losing your faith in
man,
country music.
I was a country music snob. I hated country music.
Right.
When I was growing up, because I thought I fancied myself as a singer, And who's singing? That's 3 chords.
Oh, it's so easy.
Cheating and drinking. Everybody can do it.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy down the street that's never sang before in his life, you can go he can record that.
Right.
And then once I got into country music through Charlie Prather, I understood. I thought I had a big range, that was a deal. Mm-hmm. So I wanted songs that were going to show that off. But then I got listening to Conway Twitty and Merle Haggard and saw the bottom end. They were going to the top. And I went,
you're like, oh.
I don't even have that range. What's going on here? I just never listened to it.
Somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah, I just never listened to enough of it to. But once I got in it with Charlie, I started listening to it and I thought, man, these guys are really good.
Well, it's funny because I'm doing that now. Like I've been really, really into Con Huntley in
great
the last
singer.
few years. God,
do you know Con? I'm sure you've met him.
I've never met him.
Oh, he still sings as good as he did then.
I keep seeing him on videos and stuff, and every time he's around, I'm usually out or whatever, But I'm trying to think of who was it. One of the guys, either Daryl or Aaron, are like, oh yeah, we can put up a meeting and get you a meeting, But then we never have done it. But
oh wow, I've been on Country's Family Reunion with Con.
That's
a few times.
I saw that. God,
yeah, he's a
singing fool, man. I just love his voice and I love his arrangement.
T. Graham Brown's the same way.
Oh yeah.
He's still just as good as ever.
Dang, man. Let's talk about people who don't sing very well anymore.
Earl Thomas Conley, he's passed now.
Is he still dead? Yeah.
So he didn't sing near as good as he did. And there's a couple in country music right now that ain't singing as good as they used to. But I won't go there.
Yeah, well, we can start.
Or because they could either cancel the show or you'd get great numbers.
Either way, as long as they're talking about us, I don't care.
Well, Lynn Massey, let's talk about him.
God. You know what's funny? I was doing a show with Chad out there in San Angelo. I said, "Hey man, I'm coming to town," and so we went to lunch and stuff. And he said, "Man, I'm glad you called me because if you didn't call me, I was never gonna talk to you again or something like that." And I said, "Well, damn, Lynn, you could call me too once in a while,
Lynn, for those of you listening, Lynn was my band leader for a lot of years, and Vince was in our band for a long time, and Lynn was just a redneck, great guy that everybody
just a good
loved.
dude, yeah, sweetheart. And they came out.
He wasn't much of a band leader, but he was a nice guy. Let's hope Lynn doesn't hear. Somebody get that knife out of my back.
He don't know how to put up a podcast.
He'll get Russell. Donna, cue up that Vince Moreno.
Delete. How do you delete a guy off of Facebook? No, it was fun. We got to see him, and then Danny Moya came out and hung out with us too. And
oh wow, how's Danny doing?
He's still Danny.
Yeah. Good.
He come out and hung out to the bank, hung out with the.
You never have said anything nice about him.
No, that's not true. Not on the microphone, anyway. We'll talk about that later.
That's right.
Actually, you knew Danny long before.
Yeah.
I knew you, and vice versa.
He was playing out in the clubs and stuff out there.
With Ziegler and all them, right, and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Golly.
That's going back. That's memories right there, huh?
Yeah, I guess we're not supposed to talk about those because no one else knows about them but me and you. Matter of fact, we're just changing the name of this.
Yeah.
Visiting with Neal and Vince.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Vince and Neal. Vince Neal.
There you go. I got to get into my latex pants now somehow.
I don't want to see that. I got to leave if you're fixing to get into
I'm recording. Does it look like I'm recording? Shouldn't that be red?
Things coming up.
I don't know.
Is he recording?
I hope so.
I hope
it's
so,
doing
too.
something. The little red button's there.
Holly, is he recording?
If not, we'll have to do this again.
Morgan, is he recording?
It looks like it. I guess it would be. Otherwise, the buttons wouldn't be going. Hold on. Oh yeah, it's recording.
You know, speaking of memories and music, you remember when we went to Kuwait and Iraq?
Oh yeah,
man, that was a great trip.
That was awesome. I tell people about that all the time.
You remember?
I tell people about how the guys got sick.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They got sick all of a sudden. Oh, that's called DTs.
Yeah. The funniest thing ever on that entire trip, we went over on a USO tour and visited some different places and got to entertain the troops.
Iraq and Kuwait.
Yeah.
Baghdad. That's what it was, Baghdad and a bunch of bases over there, I guess it was.
The funniest thing, though, ever. And again, it's hard for Vince and I to get together and not talk about old days.
Sure, that's what it's
about people that maybe y'all don't know, but Lauren O'Neill was our longtime bass player then.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll never forget, we were Colonel Spiegel. You know, Colonel was the one who's in charge of us taking us around.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's on my Facebook, I think.
Oh, yeah, he follows us, too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
He's a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Awesome.
retired now.
Yeah.
But I was walking with, I don't think you were close, but we were all spread out in that kind of like one of Saddam's
the mansions,
palaces,
right? Yeah,
that
the
got bombed,
palace,
you know,
yeah.
And I was walking with Lauren, you know, God rest his soul. Boy, he was a great musician, but not the sharpest tool in the shed. You know, but I was walking, and there's a big old bomb had blown through the roof, and Lauren looked at Colonel. He said, "Did we get the bomb back?" And I said, and he just looked at Lauren like, "What now?"
Is he serious?
Yeah, Lauren thought it was like a cannonball.
Did we get? Oh my God!
He wanted to know because it looked like it dropped through the roof, and he wanted to know if we'd come and gotten it and fired it again.
Can we see
else.
the ball? Can we see the ball?
I said, "Oh my gosh!" Colonel looked at me like, "Is he joking?" And I said,
"No, he's probably not joking."
He was wanting to know if we got our cannonball back.
I remember the first time he saw on TV when we were riding the bus, and something about YouTube came up, and he said, "What's you to be?" I was like, "What? What's you to be?"
God.
I said, "That's YouTube." Yeah, man. That's so funny. The last time I saw him when I was playing in Bandera, he came out and you remember when you took us to, we were playing in El Paso, and we went to the Lucchese outlet.
Oh yeah, that's
boot
right.
thing,
You got boot, yeah.
And I remember telling Holly, I was like, man, I didn't know if we were buying them. I didn't know if they were getting comped. I didn't know. So I was trying to be frugal. I got like a $300 pair of boots.
Yeah, Lauren comes over at $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah. Then, I mean, I'm fitting these boots. I'm like, they didn't even fit right. I'm like, well, shit, I don't know.
I gotta take them.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll just get these.
I'll never
little
wear them, but I gotta act like I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll wear these little, these things are too big for me, whatever. I'll take them, great, And then they were like, they're all on the endorsement thing. I'm like, oh shit. And then here comes Lauren. Hey, check these out. They got a sculpture of a longhorn on it in Texas and all this shit, like custom embroidery and all this stuff. I was like, how much are those? Oh, about $2,200. I was like, oh damn, I didn't know we could have done that. I got something that fit me. Well, he still had those boots on the last time I saw him with duct tape
Oh my
all
God.
around him. I said, man, he got his $2,200 out of those boots.
Bless his heart.
Are you still with Lucchese and Wrangler?
I am still
and
Wrangler, Lucchese.
Resistol or Stetson? Or?
Yeah, still doing
Man,
all
I
that.
remember getting so much clothes. That was so awesome.
Yeah, it saves you a lot of money. You think,
heck yeah,
we just get clothes? Yeah, but you don't understand. We were getting 1632 pair of pants and shirts every year.
A year.
I mean, at Christmas time, this is the funniest thing. At Christmas time, I'd gotten so many clothes over the year, and I'd just stack them up in the shop and stuff. So at Christmas time, we'd open our little old gifts, and everybody just go, "Oh, this is nice," and they're just waiting on me to go get all the Wrangler stuff and just chunk it in the floor. I mean, it was like, "Oh, I appreciate
a Wrangler
this
piñata.
$8 flashlight you got me, but bring out that $2,000 or $3,000 worth of Wranglers you got."
What are those MWZs at, man?
I would just chunk them in the floor, and they just go like bulges. And the Filipino was like, "Oh my gosh," they're just like.
I was saying, well, you and Gary probably wear the same size of pants.
Yeah, we were pretty close. Yeah, Gary's been wearing Wrangler for 20-something years.
That's
too.
so funny. I used to give my brother shirts, the ones that would fit him.
Yeah.
And he's still wearing them, I think, too. My dad had a bunch of old Wrangler shirts. I was like, everybody had Wrangler. I was like, hey, that's pretty awesome, man.
We couldn't wear them all.
No.
There's no way you can wear them
so much. And I mean, I still, actually, the camo stuff that I got, I just this year replaced the pants on them because I was like, these things are getting a little bit, getting a little raggedy. So
I was
pay
for the new ones.
I was like, how long have I had these things? Oh my gosh, since 2006 or 7, whatever, back in the day. But that's so funny. So one thing is, I always kind of crack up at people because they think that if they don't hear you on the radio, like, oh, what happened to so-and-so? What happened to them? What happened
they must
to
have
them?
quit. I tell people that same thing all the time.
And I'm like, man, they work their asses off. They're out there working all the time. I'm like, don't you guys read the internet or don't you read the post? Go to the website. I get people do that shit all the time to me, and it drives me nuts. But at the same time, it's the day they quit asking questions that you got to worry about. But
and it only makes sense. So, and I tell people the same thing. If you're not being played on the radio or you're not playing in their town,
right?
They think you've retired,
right?
Because that's the only thing they know. If they live in a town and they don't get out much, they
don't hear you.
It doesn't matter.
It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, I guess. Yeah.
So I run into people every day in Longview. Go, man, how come you're not still working? I said, man, come get in this bus ride with me this next week. You'll see what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And people think it's so great. You guys get to travel and see everything. It's like
glamour.
And then sleep is like a commodity when you get to traveling so much. It's like, when can we lay down, take a nap for a minute and grab a shower or whatever, it's like go. Like this last weekend, we just drove in from Nashville, drove straight to Stafford, got a little nap, did a sound check and then did the show, got a little nap, drove to San Antonio. It's just like boom, boom, boom.
And now you left it, you got about 3 hours last night.
Yeah, we got about 3 hours.
Yeah. You got to go from here
and
to
we're
Nashville.
driving straight home. And I was supposed to play downtown Nashville tonight, and I was like, I ain't going to make it.
Oh, yeah.
Not even if I made it, I would be dead tired, I was like, I don't want to do that. So I just went ahead and canceled that. And then I fly out tomorrow to go meet Aaron and them in California. So I'll be gone for another week, But people don't realize this. We're always on the go. We're always doing stuff, whether you're
they don't come to your house. You have to go to them.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just what it is.
I tell people, I do a little thing on this comedy thing that I do with Chad. I kind of go down a list of all the guys I've worked with, like I can't keep a job, But when I go to the merch line after the show, they're like, hey, what happened to, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes that's about Singletary, like, well, he passed away, last year, 2 years ago, whatever it was. But people do it all the time, and I'm like,
Neal still got his long hair?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I run into it now. Because I'll go play places.
Wow.
And they'll say, oh, when did you cut your hair? I go, 21 years ago.
Wow. Has it been that long for real?
Yeah.
And people,
then I just go,
where have you been?
Yeah. Hello. You still watching the old Shake video?
Yeah. That's probably what it is. Wow. And that was you were pretty much known for that too.
Hair for a while. Yeah.
And then you had the guys coming out. I remember Joe Nichols was kind of copying that look. Yeah. Right at the beginning too. And, heck, there's it
was just a sign of the time. Blake had a mullet. They all had,
everybody had long hair.
Everybody had long hair.
Yeah, but not like you down to the waist, wasn't it?
Nappy. Well, it was pretty long. It is nappy and nasty. People say, what happened? I said, I got tired of that crap.
Well,
I had nappy hair. I didn't have, you got good hair. I didn't have, it was frizzy. So when it was long,
oh man,
I had to gel it, to keep it from frizzing, and then diffuse it.
Oh my God.
I know people don't even know what a diffuser is. People go, what does that mean? Diffuser was just a thing you put on the end of the blow dryer that would dry, almost like a woman sitting under a dryer, where it's not direct blowing on.
And then you had all the festivals and all that stuff to deal with. All that.
I just walked out one time. I spent an hour on that crap, and then walk out in the first 5 minutes. It goes,
yeah.
I just went.
Never mind.
Somebody remind me why I'm doing this again. Trying to cut that crap off.
This is fun.
Yeah. Oh my God, I look so good for 1 minute.
I forgot my point was I was trying to get to somewhere with the whole not being on the radio and all that stuff. But people don't realize that what are you still doing? Like 200 dates a year, probably?
We'll probably only do 100. Yeah, 100 or over 100 every year.
Which
for sure.
That doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but that's half the year. You're gone.
That's every weekend.
Yeah, and you're gone. That's pretty much almost all year. You're gone.
Yeah, we're still on the road a lot
because it takes a day or two to get there.
Sure.
So. Well, that's great. I mean, and people can see your schedule at nealmccoy.com,
right.
Correct?
Yeah,
and anywhere else? Facebook? Well, everybody knows you're on Facebook all the time with the pledge, and that's been a successful thing for you.
Huge.
That's been a great thing for the country and for you. I mean, for just raising awareness, I guess you could say, because, schools are so different now. They don't have the pledge in schools in some places, and it's kind of like driver's ed. The schools have changed so much since I was in school. There's not even driver's ed.
No.
When my kids went to take the driver's test, it's like, okay, just get in and drive around the block. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's why nobody knows how to drive
That's why everybody has wrecks.
God.
Between that and texting.
Yeah, that and texting.
If I'd have known texting was coming on this strong, I'd have bought a body shop.
True that.
Because they're in there all the time. They're always bumping somebody.
You're right. Well, they're cracking down on that stuff. But back to the pledge thing, what prompted you to start doing that one day? I mean,
it's crazy, Vince. I was watching... Obama was getting at the end of his term, and they were trying to figure out all the Republicans were throwing their hat in the ring that who was going to run, and I think 4 or 5 Democrats, and probably had 12 Republicans. And I could see it kind of brewing, and I could see what they were fighting each other, and I just thought, the one thing I can do, I said, I can say the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America and just show people that no matter who is in office, you may not agree with who's in office, this is still the greatest country on earth. I mean, It always has been, it always will be.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes, to go back to that, sometimes it takes somebody coming from an immigrant. My mother's from the Philippines. My father was in the Army, met her. And she always tried to teach us kids, you ought to be happy and grateful for what you have, because I promise you, not any other country has this. So she would tell us stories about her growing up and being the second oldest of 18 kids. And she was 13 when the Japanese occupied the Philippines. The Japanese basically hit Pearl Harbor. Then about 8 hours later, they hit Manila. Same thing. They were trying to take over the world at one time. So she was 13, and she grew up with death and destruction and saw all of that.
Wow.
So,
and that's also where she met your dad, right?
Yep. And I mean, Dad was in the Army. So she came. When she got to States, she always told us kids. So I started thinking about that. I could see what was going to happen. And it was crazy. I just went on my Facebook page, didn't have a huge following or anything, and I wrote the Pledge of Allegiance. I just wrote it.
Oh,
and posted it.
You just typed
I didn't
it out.
say anything because at the time, they didn't have Facebook Live.
Oh, wow.
That's only been around 2.5 years.
Yeah, okay.
2.5 years. So I just wrote it, put it out there, and some people write and go, oh, that's cool, or somebody say, what's that about?
What's that about, yeah.
And so I just started writing, and then people started writing it every day.
That's
and I said, if you're writing it,
I do remember
you're
that
taking
now.
the time to say it, because you got to say it to write it down. You got to think about it in your head.
It's like you're reciting it,
Yeah. So they were writing it back to me, and then we went Facebook Live. That's when I started going live, and now we've done it 1,200, and in a minute when I get done, it'll be 1,257 days in a row.
How do you even keep track of how many times you've done it?
3 years and 4 months straight.
Wow.
I know, it's a long time, and people go, well, that's good. I said, yeah, that's good. Tell me, other than go to the bathroom, what have you done for 3 years and 4 months every day?
Exactly.
Every morning.
And
But I
kept
tell
track of
people, too, I said, the only downfall about that is I haven't slept in 3 years and 4 months.
Well, that's just, I was going to say, that's not discipline, but
ignorance.
Commitment. Yeah.
Well, ignorance, commitment, same thing.
So when are you going to stop this thing, Neal? And get some sleep.
I'm so tired now. What's your name again, buddy?
Yeah, exactly. Trini Triggs.
Yeah. He's just right over there.
Is he really?
Shreveport, Louisiana.
I don't know why I thought about that name, but
because we both look like him.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. A good cross. He might owe us money. We might be related. He probably owes us money. No, I think at the beginning, people probably thought, oh yeah, he'll probably do this for a little while, and he's just doing it for whatever, maybe attention or whatever, and then what? What did you say? 3.5 years later?
Yeah, 3 years. Well, 1,257 days, whatever that translates to. I think 3 years, 5 months.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you know what? It is.
It's brought a lot of people together, though.
It's the thing is, people love it. They actually love it because it gives them an opportunity to be held accountable too. Because now they think, well, I can't miss tomorrow morning. I got to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right.
I know he's going to be there. I have to be there.
Yeah.
And the good thing, I tell them, look, if you got something that, and I made it even when my dad died, even when my mother died.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember that. I was like, dang, how's he getting through that right now?
Yeah, and it was just one of those things that I'm kind of locked in and just anal retentive about some stuff, and I just thought, well, if I miss it, somebody will say, well, what happened?
Right.
So-
well, that's the thing. You know, if you miss one,
Yeah.
you could. They'll miss a month's worth, but
That's
if
right.
you miss that one, that's
Yeah.
what they're going to remember about
Yeah,
you.
well, I remember what happened to your streak.
Yeah. Oh, he's not. You know.
Yeah, he's not committed,
consistent at all. You know? Did it for 3 years and you missed one. What happened? Oh, my parents
Where'd
died.
you go, buddy?
Jeez. You know. No, but yeah, I remember you doing that. I thought, man, I remember when you lost your mother. I thought he's probably gonna take the day off. You know, whatever. And then you came on. I was like, oh, dang, that's.
Yeah. I know. Well, sometimes it's easier to know that you have to have something to do.
Well, that's true.
Kind of
Yeah.
keeps you geared in.
That's kind of like
focused.
singing, I guess,
Yep.
in a sense. You know, it's like, you know, it's therapeutic, and like you say, if you know you got to do it, you just go out there and do it without thinking about it. Really.
And if you keep the right attitude, you go out there and give it everything you got every night, and that's
Which is
you
that's-
work with us.
Yeah, that's one thing you've always ever done. I mean, you don't come out and half-ass any shows.
No, we
ever.
don't mail it in.
And it's like I remember playing some gigs. I think one of them was in Georgia. I think at a peanut festival. I think it was what it was.
Oh wow!
And
Probably been Dothan, Alabama.
that was Dothan. It
Yeah.
was, and we were under it was like a fairgrounds thing. It was so freaking cold out for some reason. It was so cold out, and you were like, well, just move it under the not awning. One of the 4-H things we played under.
Yeah.
They moved it under there because it was so cold, people weren't coming. And you said, whoever comes, we're going to give them a show.
Yeah.
And then I remember they put the big heaters out, and I was like, we couldn't hear nothing. It was like, and I remember Shane had 9-volt batteries, you know.
Yeah, and a fifth whiskey.
Yeah. Well, that helps warm me up too. Yeah, the batteries weren't for anything. He just had them.
They were for instruments.
He just had them. And a fifth of whiskey. Oh my God. Oh, there's all kinds of stories about that.
Yeah, those are some.
But I
crazy-
remember coming out and I was freezing. I'm like, what are we doing out here? And you went out there, and I remember thinking, well, shit, if he's gonna do it, you know, we can all be out here, you know, and then rain. I remember, you know, just pouring down rain. You're out there. I'm like, dude, if you get struck by lightning, we can't get paid. Get your ass on the bus. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the check next week. No,
I was worried about the check too. That's why I was there.
Yeah, that's why you're doing it.
My wife was at home saying the same thing. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the check.
Get your ass out in the rain, mister. Once you come home dry. No, but I remember one time, I think it was at Hodag, when Lauren had poured a bunch of whiskey in a Red Bull.
No.
In a Red Bull can.
No.
Isn't that what it was? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was Lauren or Shane.
It was Lauren, because he had it on his bass rig, and you were just, you know, doing your thing and dancing around, and you come by and you were going to take a big old swig of Red Bull, and you're like, and you went, I don't know, we all dropped dead laughing. Said, you come back on the talkback mic and said something. And we were like,
no telling.
yeah, that's straight Evan Williams. That's not Red Bull, Neal. That's not Red Bull.
Wait. He did it.
I remember when you said about the USO tour, you said, "Now, guys, this ain't, you know, it's not mandatory that you guys go, but I get to take the band this time, not just one or two guys, you know, and either you guys all say you want to go or nobody goes or something like that." You said, and I was like, yeah, shoot, man, this is what I signed up for. I want to go do this stuff. And then a couple of the guys were like, yeah, we'll go do it. And I remember the other guys, they were like, yeah, we'll do it. And then I think Les was like, well, guys, there's no drinking, no alcohol over there.
Yeah.
And then we're going, oh,
Well, I needed to really go on vacation with my family anyway.
Yeah, you think you find a bass player to go on that thing? Who are you going to get to cover me on
Started
that trip?
substituting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just went. Boom.
Yeah.
Well, no drinking. Lauren couldn't do a show without drinking. It was in his mind.
It's crazy. He could have, I think. I mean,
He just
obviously
would
he
let
could have,
himself
But I
do
think you just get into that, I guess, routine. I guess is what a routine. But
yeah, it's part of it.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny because I drink at my gigs. You know,
Yeah.
I do my, and it's just kind of part of the. I mean,
Yep.
Liquor sales bring me back, is what is what I've always said. If I'm selling liquor for the bar, they're going to have me back. So especially like downtown Nashville, I drink during my gigs, but I never drank on the road with you guys. I mean, I made a beer here and there, and I'm not meaning to talk bad about anybody, but I remember watching certain guys start drinking in the morning out there on the bus, and I was like, I can't even.
It just
keep up.
consumes you.
I can't do it. I was like, I cannot drink unless I'm doing something.
You know,
Like social drinking or whatever.
Yeah.
But I said, I just can't get up in the morning and just drink all day.
I made the conscious effort probably, I don't know, years ago that I thought, if I'm going to be a professional and try and hang around in it as long as I can, then I got to either quit or just cut way back or not do it at all.
Right.
But only because I
So
see
did
some
you
of these
drink
people.
in your early days? Did you?
You know, yeah.
You didn't get hammered all the time. Though.
No. And I just thought there's got to come a time that at the end of the night, when you're speaking to fans or you're speaking to the promoter, you need to be squared away.
Yeah,
you don't need to be going, I like it too. Because that's the impression you're going to leave with them.
That's
and
exactly right.
And
That's
we've been
so
able
true.
to keep a pretty decent reputation just because of being able to.
And then there's times like on the cruises you go and you have drinks.
Yeah.
People are expecting you like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're drinking with Neal. We're sitting here drinking with him now or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's one thing to get sloshed every night. And
I don't know.
And man, I've been through that myself going like, oh God, so-and-so messaged me that I said something to them. I'm like, I don't remember saying that to them. I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's not good, And sometimes it'd be funny or sometimes it'd just be like, hey, you said this and this, and they were pissed off about it.
And you may have been trying to be funny.
Yeah.
But it just didn't come off.
Oh, how much of, that's funny you brought that up. How much have you ever, when you were doing something like that, being funny, that just totally made somebody so mad?
Oh, it's happened.
It's just all the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I've dealt with that too, where it's like, okay, I know there's a line. I wasn't really trying to cross it, but since you don't get it and don't have a sense of humor or whatever, or you're
crossed it in your eyes.
Right, crossed it in your eyes.
Let me tell you, one of the toughest things to do, Vince, is when you come from a background like me, who was just kind of a shuck and jiver, and I saw Blake as he was coming up. I paid attention to him as he was coming up. It's hard because when you come from that attitude where people know you, where you play, and they think, oh, he's funny, but some people just don't know him. And you're trying to establish that same attitude on a nationwide. It's hard because you're going through those growing pains. Like then you learn to you just pick your moments, because then you could come up with stuff all the time, but you just kind of wait to where you know the moment's going to work, and then you'll be a smart aleck, but everybody will understand it. But when you coming from a regional place and you want to get that personality across, just like Blake Shelton, I watched him. People thought he was a smart ass at first.
But then all of a sudden he goes over this hump and it's like, oh, he's just funny. He's a funny guy.
But you got to get everybody used to knowing, and that takes the longest time to know that you're that guy.
Yeah.
Because up until then, you're going to get accused of just being a smart ass or
that's
somebody
exactly
that
right.
care.
It's funny too because that's pretty much been, my whole thing. People come down to Broadway and they see me, screwing around, and people walk in, I pick on them, or they'll, I'll sing something, change the words of the lyrics about their hair or something, and the people that have been sitting in the club for a little while,
they know it.
They get what's going on.
That's funny.
And the person that walks in, they're like, what's this guy? Why is everybody laughing at me right now?
Exactly.
And then sometimes they'll stay, and then I go, oh, I get it. He does that to everybody, or whatever, or they'll finally get it. But then there's some people that just get so angry or so mad, like, hey man, I tipped you, and all you did was beat me down or whatever. And I was like, look, man, I'm not attacking you personally. It's just part of the
we're laughing with you, buddy.
Yeah. But if you're gonna dress that way, you got to have a sense of humor, damn it.
You wouldn't have come out of your room like that if you didn't.
Exactly. But it's funny because I've noticed a change in people just when I started doing this thing with Chad Prather. I started doing this, opening for him. And so people are like, oh, well, he's a comedian. So it's like, oh, yeah, it's okay now. He's funny. And I'm like, I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the exact same thing that I do on Broadway that I do out with Chad. And that's kind of how that all evolved. He came out to Legends Corner one night and was sitting there and stayed the whole gig. And I saw him out in the audience, and he's wearing like a blazer and his cowboy hat. And some like
trying to look like Chad Prather.
Yeah.
Trying to look like somebody where they'd recognize him.
Yeah. Don't look at me. Yes, look at me.
Yeah. Do I look just like I did when you saw me on Facebook? Hi.
Well, that's what's funny is I didn't recognize him.
Right.
He was sitting there. I was going, oh, this guy's a singer. He's going to want to get up and sing. I was just going, oh, great. I'm like, no, he's not going to, but he's going to want to come up and sing.
They all do.
So he sat there, and then as he walked out the door towards the end of the gig, he tipped us pretty good. And him and his wife were there, Jade, and
that wife.
Yeah, that night. So he says, hey, man, you guys are killing it, blah, blah, blah. And my bass player reached down and said, hey, guys. Well, then after that, I saw another guy text, hey, Chad Prather came to our gig tonight. And I was like, oh, that's who that guy is. I said, I knew I recognized him. I just couldn't think of where. So I had messaged him and said, hey, man, thanks for coming to the gig tonight and sitting down, or staying for the whole thing. And he goes, oh, dude, not only were you funny, but you were playing all the good music, all the old stuff that we like,
School.
And so anyway, that just kind of evolved. He's like, well, you need to come up a show for me. And then he had one in Nashville. And I said, well, I'm off this week. And he said, well, just come up on the show. And I said, what do you want me to do? I got like kind of nervous because what do you want me to do? Sing? Or do you want me to like try and be funny? Or he's like, I want you to do exactly what you do on Broadway. And I said, well, do you want people to stay? Or you want people to come in and sit down and stay?
Yeah.
Well, because it was a different atmosphere for me because everybody's just sitting there looking at you
Paying attention.
versus a rotating crowd, coming in and out or whatever,
Yeah.
But as soon as I walked out, I just kind of started picking on people. There's a guy in a turtleneck sweater, just stiff, as could be, sitting there. I said, Chad, your accountant's not having fun at all. It's just stuff like that. And it just started working for me. As soon as I was getting laughs, and I learned over a few times, like, people came to laugh.
Yeah.
They're already expecting to laugh. So you don't really have to even try that hard because that's what they came for.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get that first like big laugh or whatever, it's like, it's easy.
And when you get that reputation, which we've got now,
Right.
that same kind of thing,
Yeah.
it's easier to make them laugh
And
because
it's
they
so
understand it.
natural for you. Has it always been that way? Or because people ask me, well, have you always been, funny or whatever? And I'm like, when I was a kid, I was really shy and sheltered, and I didn't really come out of my skin or whatever until late in life. So were you always like that, or like kind of outgoing?
I think I was probably always like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
but you just learn as you're in it longer. You learn what will work and what won't work. It's all about timing.
Sure.
It is all about timing. When I had were you with me when we had the Life of the Party album?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm the life.
kind of right after that.
Yeah.
Because I was covering a bunch of songs off of that in Tucson playing.
Oh yeah.
bars,
Well, I would do interviews for that, and people would say, "Oh, you're the Life of the Party." That album makes sense. And I said, "Well, believe it or not, I'm not always the Life of the Party, but you got to just figure it out. If you go to a party, and there's somebody there that's having fun and all that, and the party's good, then you don't need to be the Life of the
I
Party.
just
There
told
is
Holly
one.
about that.
I said,
yeah.
but if there's not, then you can become the Life of the Party if the party needs one. But you gotta. My best advice to new artists is weigh the room. You have to weigh the room.
Yeah.
You can't be the first one to start cussing. You can't be the first one. You just blend. And then when you get the vibe, then you can kind of open up and join in. But I always tell them you got to weigh the room.
We were just
every time.
talking about that because you see some people that they're dying to be the life of the party, and when you're being the life of the party, they can't handle it, and they either want to make you look bad or they try to be or whatever and so it's about time, and I totally get that because
everything is.
There's times where I walk into somewhere and somebody else is getting all the attention or whatever, and that's fine.
It's fine.
I don't have to get all the attention. But then somebody will be like, "Oh, hey Vince, whatever, blah blah," and then I'm like, "Okay, well that's my cue to open up." So
yeah, that's
but
right.
I'm gonna be full throttle, so you're gonna get me either.
You're gonna hate that you did this.
Yeah, all the way or another way, So, but there's times where I just like, man, I like sitting in the corner and just being quiet and being left alone.
Well, me too.
I mean,
especially the older you get.
Yeah.
Try and save all that energy for the show.
Yeah.
Because
I got to save it for the show, people. Yeah. So where are you guys headed out this weekend?
We go to Ohio. Where are we going?
It's good. It's starting to get festival season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll go to Ohio. Canada's not till next week. When we go to Ohio.
Yeah, we're going to actually be in Canada, I think, the same time.
I think so,
Is that coming up?
Yeah,
it was July.
End of June.
Okay.
June 30th was when we
Cool.
play up there.
Yeah, and then I remember Les had texted me and said, "Hey, you going to be on this thing with them?" I said, "Yeah, as far as I know." He said, "We're flying up." I said, "We are too."
Yeah.
Aaron's gotten to this point now where he's his bus. He owns his bus. It used to be Oprah's bus, I guess, a long time ago. So there's all this like TV stuff ran in it and all this stuff, but he never uses all that. But it's just been one repair after another. And then he was getting these bus drivers just like banging that thing to pieces. So he's at the point where he's like, let's just fly everywhere. He's like, I'm over this bus thing. Let's just fly.
Man, I still love the bus.
I do too.
Gosh.
It beats us. Flying just is like 4 a.m. lobby call every morning. It's
and
God.
ground transportation everywhere you go. And
Yeah.
You never know about that. I'd rather be on a bus. We're working on getting a new bus done up right now.
Oh, really?
Found a 2007 XL2. You know how many miles it got on it? 1,900.
What? Somebody had it as an RV or something?
They
or
just didn't use it.
They
just bought it. It's still
wow.
a shell. So
it's not with bunks or anything like that.
No.
Now, do you still use Taylor Tours to do all that stuff?
No, Taylor Tours, not even Taylor Tours anymore.
Oh,
they
really?
sold the Night Train.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So they're
that.
Night Train East, West.
Yeah.
Night Train East and Night Train West.
And that's who does your...
No, that's not who's doing mine. I'm doing different conversion company here in Texas.
I didn't mean to bring up
no.
the wrong business.
Yeah.
Promote the wrong business.
Oh, no. They're out of it, but we still know them.
Oh,
and talk to
wow.
them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
God dang. That's crazy.
But I'd rather be on a bus. It makes sense. I have my routine.
Oh, yeah.
I work out. I got time to do stuff.
Well, you can sleep on there.
Time to email. Yeah.
You can get rest
used to
if
it.
you want to.
Yeah.
That's like, and I told her the other day, he's like, man, I'm just tired all the time. I said, dude, this flying is kicking our butts, I said, why don't we just ride it? Because Ray usually takes his bus, so we could ride out there, but it's kind of different schedules because Aaron's tour manager is kind of the stage manager for the Roots and Boots
so they got to be there early.
So he's got to be there before everybody, and so he's like, I just wouldn't work out schedule-wise. I'm like, yeah, that's why I said it sucks we can't ride with Colin because, I get that he's over the repairs and all. I get that because it's like, dang, it's like every trip.
Something.
Every trip, something.
It's the same way with me. Oh my God!
And it's like always something. And he's like, man, I'm so over it. Well, I'm just ready to just get a van and a trailer, And I said, I understand, I hear you, man, but dang, flying it just beats you up. You don't get any sleep. You can't sleep on a plane. No. Then you get there, it's like leaving the day before, so you're really gone the same amount of time, anyways. You would be on a bus, anyway. But what are you gonna do, Buy a plane? Well, that's what I told him. I said, buy a plane. You got 5 planes. He's always telling me, the road manager, if you guys lost some more weight, we could fly you guys and the luggage. Okay. We'll go Southwest, man. We don't got to go to extremes here. Well, man, thank you for sitting down with me, Neal. It's been fun catching up with you. I know you got to do the pledge.
Yeah,
pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's probably getting time to get out
crazy.
there.
Because if you're just a minute or two late.
Do people show up out there like right now? About right now? What time is there?
If they're it's 4 minutes till. If they're going to be there, they're out there now. But they don't show up every day.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I want to witness the people out there or whatever.
Yeah, some have driven. Sometimes they'll drive. One lady drove 700 something miles from Wisconsin nonstop to say the pledge.
Wow.
And drove back.
And then just left.
Yeah.
Dang. She didn't make you breakfast or nothing?
No.
Make you a sandwich? Did she make you a sandwich?
I tried to check her in a psych ward while she was down here for. I said, "There's obviously something wrong with you, girl."
I remember one time at the Dusty Armadillo, one of your old fans, she showed up pictures of my kids. She's like, "Can you sign this?" I'm like, "What are you doing with pictures of my kids?" That was back in the MySpace days.
Oh, wow.
She printed them off of there, and I was like, "This is creepy. That's kind of weird." Thanks for coming to the show, but yikes.
Yeah, just don't come back.
Just don't come back, and don't bring pictures of my family.
I know that's the same way. When I cut a song called "Take a Knee, My Ass."
Oh yeah.
And of course nobody would play it, but it went. It did really well on Facebook and all this stuff.
Yes,
a lot of
streaming and all that stuff. Yeah.
And we started getting death threats. My family.
I remember you talking about
kids
that.
Getting death threats.
That's crazy. Just over a word or a song or the point.
Yeah,
or all of it.
Yeah, just tired of protesting.
You can't please everybody, and half the time it's not even worth trying. But
yeah, I don't even try anymore.
I could tell.
Yeah.
You want to put your pants back on?
Yeah.
NealMcCoy.com, you guys. Go check him out. It's going to be one of the best shows you've ever seen.
Those are your pants, by the way.
Yeah. That's why you got them wrapped around you twice. Thanks for sitting with us, Neal. We've got to do a part 2. Maybe in Canada we can sit down again.
I'd love to.
That'd be awesome. And I'll actually hit record next time.
Yeah.
This is a great trial run, a great practice.
Don't bring your wife. We'll talk about the old days.
Oh, yeah. And then we'll never put the podcast out for anybody to hear. Thanks, everybody. That's Neal McCoy right there. NealMcCoy.com. You guys go check him out. It'll be one of the best times you ever had in your life.
That's right.
He's getting ready to go do his Pledge of Allegiance, so get on Facebook and check that out every morning at 9 o'clock, right?
Every morning.
9
o'clock-ish, depends on what time zone, but I shoot for 9 o'clock Central.
9 o'clock Central. Y'all follow along and go to his page if you haven't already and hit subscribe and hit follow. And
if you haven't, you're ignorant.
Yeah, do it or we'll come to your house and do the pledge at your house.
You do not want that.
Without pants on. We'll do that.
Pants on the ground.
Pants on the ground. Saying the pledge with the pants on the ground.
Thanks for joining us for the latest installment of Music and Memories with your host, Vince Moreno. Visit VinceMoreno.net for show dates, music, and more.